This is the first episode, so gotta get these settings just right. Get ready. Welcome to the Art of Business. My name's Irving. I own a production company called Auriela Productions. It's brand new, less than a year old, and I want to show you how I take my company from negative profit to positive profit, and hopefully we'll learn together how to actually make a production company a viable business. As artists, as filmmakers, I don't think we talk about money enough. It's a tool that we absolutely need in order to survive. And I think as film and media entrepreneurs, or as artists in general, there's a lot of content missing about sharing the journey to actual profitability. And just like all business ventures, we're gonna start with something small, but it's still a big deal. And that's the Insta360 1R. Yes, with camera pieces this tiny, we can start to make our business into something that actually has predictable income as artists. And this little tool, I believe, will help us to grow. Now from here on out, it's going to be my first impressions of this piece of equipment. Then we'll move into sort of the business analytics, why I did what I did, the potential profit this thing can generate, when we can expect a return on investment, all the numbers, etc., etc., and we'll be good to go. The main selling point for this camera is that you can do virtual tours. Now, I haven't actually tried to do virtual tours. We're going to put this thing together, and hopefully we can figure it out. Hopefully it's super simple. I heard it's super simple. And we'll see what potential does this tiny $500 camera really have. If you get the Twin Edition, which is what I got, it comes with a 4K camera, right here attachment. It also comes with a 360 camera attachment that's inside the box currently. We'll put this together and see how this goes. There we go. We've got the 1R camera body put together. So before we put it into this GoPro style housing, I'm just going to drop in a memory card from my little keychain. SD card is in. Now I think we can put in the housing. So since I'm familiar with GoPro housing, I think I can drop it in here very quickly. And this is the selfie stick that came with my kit. So we're just gonna attach the selfie stick to the bullet time handle. It's a very convenient design, and we'll attach this on top of here. Great, so this is all together. We have our little mini tripod. This thing extends, I think. Yeah, kind of unscrew this thing in sequence, and it telescopes out like this. Big tripod. Very simple, very easy to use. Now, since this was so easy to put together, I'm pretty happy with the thing so far. This is the perfect time to say I have no affiliation and I'm not sponsored by Insta360. I have a 12 subscriber channel right now, so don't be thinking I'd be biased. So now we've got to open up the Insta360 app. So I'm just going to go over. There we go. I already downloaded it, and here it is. What we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out how to actually capture these 360 pictures. Isn't that cool? Yeah, let's see if I can give you a closer look. So that's pretty easy. I switched over to photo mode, and I guess we'll take our first pictures now. And we back. It's been a few days, but now it's time to talk about everyone's favorite topic, money. So we're gonna talk about our purchase philosophy for buying equipment, what you might wanna think about, and how I evaluated this purchase in particular. Then we'll go over to market research, and we'll break everything down, and we'll have a good amount of confidence in our purchase. To me, there are two ways to think about buying a camera. And the reason why there are two ways are because cameras are what you call depreciable, meaning that year after year they lose value. And why do they lose value? Because you use it, it puts wear on the camera, it's hard to sell faster on eBay or something like that, but also there's like technological degradation. Every year cameras get better as we progress technologically. You know, cameras get cheaper to produce, therefore more available, and everyone's happier, and it's a great thing. But when we buy a camera, especially an expensive camera, we want to commit to that thing knowing that we're going to be able to use it for a while, and then we'll make our money back extremely quickly to fight the depreciation of that camera. It's a bit like buying a car, but it's like buying a car for a business. I think that'll make more sense if we break out the definitions of assets versus liabilities. So I found this pretty cool infographic on educba.com. I'll link the article in the description. And here it has the meaning of both assets and liabilities. I just wanted to read to you the meaning of assets. So assets are the properties or valued objects owned by a company which generates income for the future. Generally, a future income is possible if they are used efficiently. The key word I want to highlight in reading that was the word efficient. I think when we buy gear, when we think about gear, we think about what will make us happy. We don't think about what is needed to do a job. And I think the faster the turnaround time, the faster you make your money back on your camera, the more efficient, in a very shorthanded way. That's not the only way you should evaluate efficiency, but that's a very shorthanded way to understand, are you being efficient? Because if you're not making your money back very quickly on, a few jobs, you're making your gear money back, then your depreciating asset is becoming less and less efficient. Here, I'll read the part about depreciation with regards to assets. It says, all fixed assets have a depreciation associated with. Depreciation is the erosion caused primarily due to the regular usage of machine, land, and building. So essentially, we are using a machine. The efficiency level of any fixed asset is assumed to get eroded, and hence the valuation gets lowered in financial terms after each year. So that's what I mean by we need to be efficient with getting our money back quickly with our purchases. So in one quick sentence, whatever equipment we buy, it doesn't have to be just a camera. We want them to be efficient enough to be called an asset. I know some of the off-the-cuff shooters, the people who like to grab their camera and just roam around shooting vlogs, short films, little vignettes, whatever it is, are thinking to themselves, but I need a camera that just feels right in my hands. I totally get that. As a filmmaker myself, I love the freedom that this camera gives me to get the image I want, but that's not necessarily valueless, and also we ought not think about our careers as a sort of one-trick stream to the future. That's not how this works anymore, not these days. The truth is that you really need to not be afraid of diversifying your revenue streams. With regards to things that are not virtual tours, the value that it provides me is that it's a camcorder in my kit, which for me, starting my YouTube channel, is extremely essential to have something that I don't have to worry about focusing. I can drop into my pocket even. I can whip around and have creative freedom while doing a really fast process. So there's also that aspect of it that provides me essentially income indirectly through business leads and through exposure of my company. I hope it'll provide cool shots here and there. That's all I really need from it to put in my kit. And it's not just single family homes either that can be scammed. Businesses right now are really honestly suffering. And a lot of them are experience based. And I don't even think once we're done with this pandemic that we're gonna go back to normal immediately. I think there's gonna be this residual lingering to always be out in public with a whole bunch of people in a group. So places like theme parks, places like movie theaters, museums, any place with a vibe, they're gonna wanna bring people back as the country reopens. And in order for them to do that, they need to remind people what those unique experiences were like. And so they're gonna need people who can provide that experience virtually to their customers. Okay, so we've got residential tours, which is a very calculatable business. It's a very predictable business, and I'll show you in a moment. We've got, for my vlog, we've got virtual tours for businesses in need of it right now, and we've got virtual sets. And last but not least, This is a mantra you'll hear me speak to my filmmakers over and over and over again out there. Every set needs to be a 2-camera shoot. I don't care if you hate multicam, the extra camera or the extra several cameras are your behind the scenes, because that content will drive your film to potentially make money on its own. Hashtag new economy. So the way I found out about virtual tours was learning about real estate as a source of passive income. And there are going to be videos about that in the future, so don't you worry. With a camera that can do relatively good 360 footage, you can get jobs that will pay you $500, $600, $700, $800 to scan their property depending on how big it is and the value of that home. Notice how small my camera price is compared to a singular job. Maybe I have to do the first scan for free, and maybe I have to do the successive scans at half off, or something like that. But if I find one realtor to work with me about 3 times, I probably have recouped my money on the camera that I might already want to begin with. But there are other factors to consider. What's the competition like? How many hours does it take to scan a house? How many houses truly are there to scan? Are realtors going to actually pay that much money? Which realtors would? How do I even find those realtors? But let's start with the competition by doing a little bit of market research. What's up, guys? It's actually 11 p.m. the next day. I'm actually filming on the wide-angle 4K attachment for the Insta360. One of the great things I love about this camera is how versatile it is for us YouTubers, and now you can see my really messy desk in wide-angle glory. So I'm just going to plop this camera right in the corner, and we'll get started. First directly monetizable thing that this camera does is virtual tours. And the great thing about that is I don't have to guess too much. The numbers for how much that might cost is not as hard as something like virtual sets, where I'm not sure if this camera is even on par with what a virtual set might need, like an actual Matterport scanner or not. But let's do some research together. Let's do some market research. So let's look up, I'm in New Jersey, so I'm gonna look up virtual tours in New Jersey. And I'm gonna look at the leading marketing service. Okay, first of all, I already know that if this is the #1 Google search and these are the images coming from this company, no shade to this company. The thing I love about reaching dank sites like this is that it tells me that I have a lot of room to build margin with, or at least come in and get some experience underneath them, just from having a better, more professional experience. But let's look at the one-stop shop services that they have over here. Let's take a look at that. So they've got virtual tours. Let's look at that. And let's take a look at some other samples and see, that's not good. Okay, so it looks like they do the service that I will be competing with them for. So they break down their pricing by square footage. They have their Matterport scan here, and they're doing 13 cents per measurable square foot, with a minimum of $200. Just average square foot of a home. So the average square foot of a home in the United States is about 2,500 square feet. So let's look at the average price. I know that it differs per state, but I'm not going to go into the local data. You can look it up for your state, but this is just for example's sake. So 2,500 square feet, let's get out the good old calculator. So that means that they're expecting on average about $325 per house that they do on average, plus or minus, let's say $50. That's a lot of money. Wow. Okay, guys, looks like we landed on a gold mine here. Again, no shade to this company here, but being realistic, we've got a gold mine. If our top 3 sites look like that, one that has poor marketing, it's probably the best one, but is fairly expensive compared to what we can offer instead. One that doesn't even offer true virtual tours, like walkthrough virtual tours, and one that, looks like this, which is a site I would never even consider buying from. We can look at their packages real quick, but I'm pretty sure that we're poised to compete. So Auriela will be in this space. My experience with putting that 3D image together was actually pretty glitchy. I contacted Insta360 and they're really working on getting the 1R to be properly supported by Matterport, but I just want to say that it does tentatively work, but I'm not comfortable saying that it's fully there yet. That being said, do I recommend picking up one of these cameras? Am I sure that the issues are going to be resolved? Yes. If you want a glitch-free experience with a camera that is tried and true and has been tested with the Matterport Capture app, you should get the Insta360 1X. The link is in the description. So yeah, no buyer's remorse at all. Just wanted to give you guys the heads up. It might work well for you. It worked okay for me sometimes. I was able to get a scan, but I, again, am not comfortable saying go buy the 1R for sure if you want to pick up the camera, run away right now and make all your money. So yeah, wanted to switch to the 360 view on this camera just to give it a try and try out editing this thing. I think it's super cool what this camera is capable of doing, what it might set you up to do in terms of real estate marketing in general. If you want to learn more about more ideas, how you can do other things with real estate marketing other than virtual tours, there's a link in the description of an article that I read recently about how real estate marketing will be changing forever from here on out because of this pandemic, and how to set yourself up for helping realtors to market properties a lot better in the post-disaster economy. With that, I think we've done our research here. I'm really happy with my purchase. I can't wait to start marketing it. Follow me on all my socials if you want to learn how this project goes as one of my very, very many revenue streams, but we're going to be doing a lot of things like this. We're going to be doing things like esports, we're going to do traditional filmmaking, we're going to do a whole bunch of things. So stick around, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Follow me on my socials. Thank you so much for being here for my first video, and I just want to say you too can make art profitably. All right, we're out.